think I'm live. All right. I think I'm just going to wait for some people to come on real quick, but I think I'm live here. So, as soon as I get a check, I will start the show. And get set up on my computer here. I know every live stream starts out this way. Just old Joe trying to work out the technical difficulties. Well, I hope you guys all had a good weekend. Oh, well, I hope you guys all had a good... Turn that down. All right. Just wait for some of you to get on, and I will drink this miserable tasting coffee here. I ran out of the my regular coffee pods, so I'm drinking this old Starbucks mocha coffee. It's just terrible. Not improving my eyesight either. So, all right, bear with me here. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I'm gonna get the chat going here. Let's see. Where is my chat? Seems like every time I start one of these live streams, granted, I only do them like once a month maybe, but it seems like every time I I sign on, it's the format's totally different, and so things are rearranged. So bear with me. I'm just trying to get the right now. I'm just trying to get my live chat showing, which is like a key component to this live stream. There it is. All right, there you guys are. Okay, first name, can barely pronounce it. TM Timsack. TM Sack. What's up from Southern Idaho? Hey, what's going on? How you doing? You guys all hear me okay? See me okay? Homestead family Idaho. Haha. Do you want me to make you a better one? Perhaps, except all the coffee is in the pantry, so you're gonna have to make a surprise appearance. Jeff Haskell, same here, Southern Idaho. Stan Grenfell, hello from Southwest Idaho. Jonestead Farm, hello, just got to Idaho from Florida. Awesome. You moved here or what? Shaner, I recently ordered 2 cans of your snares. Damn, they work good. I caught my first squirrel. Good job. That's good to hear. Yeah, for those of you who are interested, I sell snares at my Etsy store. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description once the show is done. Clinton Stark, hello from Central Montana. Sue Meeks from Filer, Southern Idaho. Jonestead Farm, loud and clear. Okay, good. Homestead family, Idaho, never mind. I'll get well, I don't even know where the coffee is. Hold on a second. Let me get some coffee. I'm just doing some coffee pods tonight. Some Kirkland Costco brand coffee pods. Anyways, if you guys want my wife to make an appearance on the show, why don't you give a number 1 for yes in the chat, number 2 if no. I'll make her come get the coffee. 1. All right, that's it. The vote is in. You got to come get the coffee now and say hello. How many people do I have in this chat? Oh, 24. Pretty good. Not bad. I got 50,000 subscribers, but yeah, my live stream still pulls in about the same as it has when I had like 1,000 subscribers. So I have my dedicated, this is what I like about my live streams is like, it's just uh, my dedicated subscribers. So I really just do these live streams for you. I don't have much to say. I can, whatever you guys want to talk about, but I've been busy. Nothing super interesting. Just been busy with work, my full-time job, because this is my busy season. Uh, so, yep, it's getting rough. It's getting tougher and tougher to paint houses as I get older. That's for sure. I tell you what, painting is definitely it's like a young man's career. uh, Tactical Nomad, good evening. Good evening. Harp and Blues, greetings from Ohio. Shaner, damn, I can't stress enough anyone that's interested in trapping, check out his snares. Yeah, the snares are, um, I'm getting better. I've made so many snares. I spend more time making those things than I actually use them. But I will say, if you guys just want like a simple, basic, put some snares in your bug out bags. I think it's a must. You don't see a lot of people adding it to their bug out bags, but if you were in a survival situation like out in the woods, that's snaring your food, trapping your food is going to be pretty much your number one source of food, food of procuring food. So not a bad thing to have in your bug out bags. And like a real simple way to do it, it doesn't have to be that complicated. A lot of people think that trapping, is like this science, and it can be if like you were trying to make a living out of it. Then yeah, you'd have to get a lot more, just a lot more thoughtful and tricky in the way you catch stuff. But if you're just going after squirrels, all you have to do, because rabbits are a little trickier to catch, but if you're just trying to get a squirrel, all you really have to do is just cut down a small tree and just lean it up against another tree to kind of just basically create like a ramp, because for whatever reason squirrels just love, what they love is shortcuts. So if they see a tree leaning up against another tree, they're just going to go up that little knockdown tree. So cut down a couple small trees like dead trees and lean them up against standing trees and put the snare on that fallen tree, and you'll get a squirrel. So just a little helpful survival trick if you ever find yourself lost out in the mountains. But I hope I pronounce this right. Is it Marcia Bodstetter? Hi, I'm new here. I love Idaho. Moving to Kimberly, Idaho soon. Never. It sounds kind of familiar. My family and I were just in Calder last weekend. Went on a camping trip. So it was the first trip of the season, but it was still a little too early, and we just been getting killed with rain here for the last month. Usually I would say, April is always kind of a rainy month. I mean, I remember in California, it's a pretty rainy month. In Idaho and the Southwest, it's very rainy. So it's just been like storming here. And it kind of sucks because I've been trying to do this solar generator review, and I just can't do it because we haven't had sun in like 3 weeks. So it's been really tough to do that review. But I have an EDC video coming out soon because that's something that I've been getting a lot of requests to do. So I've been putting together all my EDC stuff lately, and I'm trying to update some things because some of the stuff that I have is just a little outdated. A lot of you guys have seen it. I've just featured it in so many videos. So if I'm going to do an EDC video, I want to try to add a few new things. So The flashlight is new. I got some really cool new like medical kit type things that I'm going to be featuring in this video, along with a new multi-tool that I've showed in one video, but not very much. But I got a new folding knife, and right now I'm just waiting on a holster for my pistol, and then the EDC video will be complete. And so yeah, it should be a good one. But I try to, just not recycle the same stuff too much, and I'm kind of getting to that point with my channel where I feel like a lot of the stuff is just it's getting trickier, because I'm trying not to recycle old stuff that you guys have seen a million times. And at the same time, I don't want to just be buying new gear like every month to put a video together. So a lot of this stuff does come, it is sent to me by the manufacturer, so that's good. Saves me a little money. But I will say the EDC flashlight so far is like one of the coolest parts of this new EDC. It's a really cool light. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but I've been using it for the last week or so, and yeah, wait till you guys see it. It's a pretty awesome little light. But yeah, the knife that I got, this is probably like the most expensive pocket knife I've ever bought for myself, and I'm not even carrying it. Like when I go to work, I just basically bought it just for the video pretty much, and I just keeping it in my cabinet because I know it's like me, I just have a bad track record with expensive knives. They don't last long on my person, so I just always carry these, not total junk. I mean, this is a Spyderco, but it is like the Chinese, it's the one that they had outsourced to China, so it's still a really good, really well made knife. Not the greatest steel. I already busted the tip on it and had to grind it down, but this is my work knife, and I've had this one for about 3 years, and it does pretty good. I open paint cans with it all day long, and it's a strong knife. But let's see here. Am I missing some chats? What are you doing?
The coffee.
Oh yeah, the coffee. Look, it's Miss Idaho Prepper.
Hi everyone.
She's come to make me some coffee. Mm-hmm. So she has a channel, Idaho Family. What is it?
Homestead
Family Idaho. I always mix up the
terrible
the words there, but
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, check it out. She's got a really good sandwich bread recipe coming out. So.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So I'll try to catch up on some of these chats here. Oops, lost the live stream. But yeah, my family and I, we went camping. We went to the St. Joe River last week, but it was raining the whole time, and spring just really isn't the greatest time to go camping because the rivers are just still, rushing so hard. There's not much you can do unless you're, unless you have a river boat that can stay in a high thrust river. But, just me and the family and our camper got like a tent, like a pop-up tent camper, and we were right on the river. It's a really nice campground, but it was dangerous. We got 3 little ones, so I had basically spent the whole weekend just watching them because we were right on this river, and if one of our kids like fell, they'd have just been swooped away and gone. So it was a little nerve-wracking. So probably next time I definitely won't schedule a camping trip that close to the river that early in spring. So, but the area was beautiful. It looks really good this time of year, that's for sure. But the river was just rushing so hard I couldn't even fish it or anything. Get back in this live stream here. What happened? Okay. Here we are. So I have a funny thing to confess with you guys. So this is a funny story. So the last live stream that I was doing, if you guys want to go back, it's kind of funny, but what had happened was every once in a while I have like some pretty bad pain in my knee and sometimes I'll get anxiety. So every once in a while I take like a CBD gummy, and I mean like I probably eat one, I don't know, every 2 months. It's pretty rare, but I had got some new ones recently, and I asked the guy at the place that was selling them, like, I don't, these aren't going to like get me high or anything. And he's like, no, 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 these are really low grade CBD gummies. Like, it's just, it just basically takes like the stress off. If you have like stress or anxiety, it just takes it off, but you don't get any sense of like, euphoric feeling or anything. So, he assured me it was nothing was going to happen. And so I tested. I ate like half one, nothing happened. It's like, okay, this is good. And so before that show, I ended up, because I ate a half one, I was fine. I ate a full one, and I didn't think anything about it. And I do remember the guys saying like they are slow, like they have a slow time release or whatever. And so I ate a full one before that last live stream. I think it was like a month ago or so. And as the stream was going, I remember I was doing that stream. I was feeling like tired for some reason. Like, God, why do I feel so tired? And I was feeling like stressed out, like, anxious. Because for me, I don't like, if I don't like the feeling of marijuana. It actually does the reverse. Like if I get actual like high, I'll actually start getting paranoid. So I don't like that feeling. But I was doing that live stream and I'm thinking, what is going on? Usually when I start these live streams, there is like a bit of anxiety. I'll have like a little bit of anxiety, a little nervousness, just kind of getting it going. So I was thinking that was what was going on, and I was thinking, why is this lasting so long? And I was having a hard time getting my words out. And about halfway through the show, it just dawned on me. I was like, my God, I'm high. And so then it was just like full. Then I was just in, damage control mode where I'm like, I have to end this live stream. I'm completely high right now, and so yeah, it's funny. About the halfway point of the show, you'll kind of it dawns on me that that's what's happening. Like I am like under the effects of basically THC from those gummies, and I was like, I gotta end this show ASAP. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Idaho Prepper, everybody. Give her a round of applause. So, in case you guys were wondering what's going on with this guy tonight, that's what was going on. The Idaho Prepper was high on CBD, so I won't be doing that again. Yeah, it's weird because those CBD gummies. I mean, I have a really low tolerance because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. So if I just drink like a kombucha, I mean, my tolerance is so low. If I just drink like one of those kombucha drinks, they're fermented drinks, but just the fermentation from a kombucha will actually give me a buzz. So the Idaho Prepper has to be careful about that kind of stuff. But yeah, just thought you guys might want to know. All right, I'm gonna catch up on some of these chats here. Give me a second. I keep using the. I've never liked laptops like where you're controlling the arrow or whatever with your fingers. So I just got like an old school mouse, but then I forget that I have it. All right, where did I leave off? Is it Marcia or Marcia? I'm going to say it's Marsha. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Marsha Bostetter. Hi, I'm new here. I love Idaho movie. Okay, I already read that. Tactical Nomad. I'm from the Idaho Montana border. Which one? South or north? um, Harpland Blues. Haha, I'm getting out of HVAC at 30 because I know I can't sustain, because you know you can't sustain male nursing haba. You're going to be a male nurse. Am I getting that right? You're going to go from HVAC to nursing. That's interesting. That's quite a shift in careers. Thoughts on raising a family and prepping in Moscow area? I don't know. Isn't Moscow where those murders took place? Like, we went through Moscow when we first moved here. It's just a college town, so I don't know much about it other than there's, the college is there. It's definitely a lot busier for than I would like. But as far as raising a family in Idaho, I'd say like this is the place. I mean, that's the main reason why I moved here, was because it's family oriented. I mean, not the reason, but one of the main reasons is specifically for homeschooling. It's one of the few states that actually allows, that really has like freedom of choice when it comes to homeschooling curriculum. So it's attractive, um, for that reason alone, to people who want to homeschool their kids. Um, the way they want to homeschool them, this is a good state to do it. So if you're looking to homeschool your kids, this is the state to be in. But and it's safe, so it's good all around. It's just, I would have loved to have grown up here when I was a kid, and I did. Like, actually, the town I grew up in was pretty much like Idaho, but by the time we left, it was an absolute horror show. So hopefully that doesn't. I think that a lot of Idaho has already succumbed to, to its inevitable, subversion for the most part. So I mean, but I think that there's actually a lot of parts of Idaho. I tell you what, you can drive through that. Like, one of the areas that we were in this week, I was actually telling my wife, I'm like, this place is probably it, like, no threat of ever becoming subverted. Like, I don't think people would ever move to this area with the intent to, corrupt it or just overpopulate it. There's just much there. But if you are looking to like move to a place, and just because that was our original kind of idea too when we came up here, is like, I just want to go to a place that I'm not going to have to like pick up and move in 5 years, when it just becomes like, when it just succumbs to like degeneracy and it just gets flooded with people. I just want to move somewhere like that. And the first town I picked, I really thought it was going to be like that. And it still is for the most part. People, if you saw the town, you'd think I was crazy. But I just saw a lot of like the telltale signs that it was going to go in a bad direction. Not so much from like a population standpoint, but just from like an ideology standpoint. There's just a lot of bad actors like starting to posture up and prepare to, subvert that town. So Marsha Bodstetter, I'm from Olympia, Washington. Interesting. Harp and Blues, what brand snares? They're my brand snares, so I make them myself. Fry Daddy, that's a good name. Hello from Southeast Idaho. Scroll down here. Marsha Bostetter, wild rabbit is good. It is. The farmed rabbit isn't too bad either. Tactical Nomad, Boise has fallen. Yeah, it sure has. Coeur d'Alene has fallen. it's fallen not as bad as Boise, but yeah, it's definitely on its way out, unfortunately. You know, my theory on like if you're trying to find somewhere that probably won't succumb, um, or fallen, as you say, you gotta if you find an area that is very like mountainous. In other words, it's not flat. There's nowhere like where a big developer can come in and start putting in like mass scale, um, you know, homes. Those areas are pretty safe. So you move to an area that's very mountainous. There's no way they can put a highway in or build like put in housing developments. I think, in my opinion, those places are going to be pretty safe from ever going in that direction. So if you're looking for a place that you can get away like that, move to, and it's going to just probably never fall, that's what you want to look for. It really comes down to like terrain. um, Tactical Nomad, what are your thoughts of Governor Brad Little? I don't know. I don't, believe it or not, I just don't, the politics thing, and it's not that like, I just don't follow like, I think they're all corrupt. That's just kind of my feeling. They're all corrupt. They all work for the same the same party. It's just a uniparty. That's my take. So I don't follow politics the way people, I guess a lot of people do. I just don't buy into it. I don't think that there's any uh, viable, like legitimate options. Sounds kind of like pessimistic, nihilistic, whatever. That's just my few because I did follow politics like religiously and very like obsessively for years, and that's the conclusion I reached. So now I just kind of follow like political philosophy. I just kind of basically look at um, look at politics in terms of like how are we going to fix this thing because from the ground up really, and because we have to figure out how to get how to what's the word like vet people, get the right people in, but we got to get a legitimate vetting process, and in order to do that, people have to become like awake, and still have this is a slow waking up process, and people are starting to wake up, but you know is it too little too late? Maybe, I don't know, but it really just comes down to how long the internet has been around, and this is I always say this, but it's without the internet is what's changed history, and in the sense that it's given people, the average person, like insight and exposure and access to information um, that they never had before. It just wasn't as readily available. So people are getting, for the first time, getting access to information that's always been there. It just hasn't been readily available. It's just not information that the news media, that have controlled the flow of information have ever allowed us to see. So a lot of people are seeing stuff, and it's just kind of a process of people accepting it and coming to terms with it. So we'll see what happens. But that's where I'm at, I guess you would say, politically. I just kind of see it as like we got a lot of people need to wake up first. Not everyone. I don't think that everyone needs to wake up. We just need enough people to wake up to, formulate a plan based on the truth, and then start vetting people and then getting the right people in office. And whether that's even possible, who knows? But first thing we got to do is basically, wake people up to the truth. Tactical Nomad, don't forget to hit the thumbs up for the Idaho Prepper. Yeah, don't forget that. Teresa Buchanan, hello, Miss Idaho. Shaner, I bought the Shanzhou Vesta bushcraft knife. So far, I'm impressed. Never heard of it. Sounds Japanese or something. Harpin Blues, howdy. Charlie Mike, coffee time. Yeah, this coffee is a million times better than that hot garbage I was drinking. I knew something was wrong. I tapped on it. It almost looked like a mouse had been nibbling at it, and I was like, "Oh well." And I put it in the Keurig anyways, thinking that I just hope that the heat from the Keurig kills all the bacteria that the mouse put on my coffee pod. Harpin Blues, where to buy your snares? I see link to merch page. Should I go there? Yeah, if you want. I don't have a I didn't put a link to that store on the description of this video. Maybe I should have, but I don't know how many snares I even have left. But yeah, I sell like the snares, I sell fire starters, the fire steels, and fire tinder. And I do have like some IFAKs. I got to get on that, but I have IFAKs that I'm selling. I just got to get around to listing them. But right now, just my painting career right now is just taking over all of that right now, and so all that stuff has kind of been put on the back burner, including the channel. It's been over 2 weeks since I put a video out. I just been slammed with work, and then we had the family camping trip, and then I got trying to keep things going around the house and the homestead and everything. So I just been a busy bee. Kent, hello. First time I've caught a live. Great channel, sir. Idaho is a great state. Was my home for a while. Right on. Welcome. LT Outdoorsman. There he is. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, buddy? LT Outdoorsman's got a good channel. You guys ever want to check him out? He's a young prepper, young outdoorsman enthusiast. He's got some good content. He's actually way better at his choreo. Just his production value is better than mine, I think. I need to connect with him, and he can teach me how to edit my videos a little better. I am. What's your best gadget? Well, as far as like the gadget I use most is my knife, is my pocket knife. So yeah, I guess that would be my best. Sorry, it's taking me a while. I'm trying to skip through some of the comments where people are just interacting with each other. High on CBD, yeah, has me laughing so hard. Dude, I'm telling you. I have friends that, that like smoke weed all the time, and they're like shocked that I could get high on a CBD gummy. So I'm like, yeah, man. They're just jealous too, because they all have to like smoke. I have like a friend who's been like smoking pot like so long, and I mean he's like one of those guys that smokes like all day every day, and it's sad. And he's like well into his 40s, and what he has to smoke to get high is like it's insane. Whereas like a normal person, if they smoked it, they probably die. And that's what he's smoking just to like function on. I am says, if all of us came together in 3 months, we can have land, energy, crops, wells, and bunkers, and all in all playing that rat race alone with how the state of the world is doesn't seem like the best choice. There's a few groups here that have actually, if that's kind of what you're talking about, coming together and created not quite like communes where they've come together, but just groups like people in the general vicinity have they come together and they have worked out like strategies and plans, and they've like, selected people to certain roles that, like, if something happens, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and it's pretty extensive in terms of like what they've managed to organize. But they have pilots, on their team that can basically bring in goods from outside of the state if need be. They have all different forms of communication. Uh, they have what do you call it, like shortwave radio experts, and I think they even have their own repeater in the area. So if you're on GMRS, you can communicate as a group. It's kind of part of the group fee. So for those of you who don't know, like a repeater is basically if you have a handheld radio with GMRS capability. If you have a repeater in your area, that repeater will allow you can connect to the repeater, and then that repeater will kind of further um, put your signal out even further, so you can communicate a longer distance. Sorry, I'm kind of hacking up that explanation, but in other words, the repeater just makes it so that you can talk further away on your handheld radio, but you have to pay for it. It's usually it's like a monthly fee, but if you get enough people together that are interested in that, you can put the money together for that repeater and just sign in, and then you guys can all access it. So definitely something cool to have if you're putting together like a preparedness group. But I thought the pilot thing was pretty cool. The fact that they had like a pilot like on call, and they had people like ready to go, with food where they could just bring food and other resources into the area. Now, whether they have their own like private landing strips, like that would be cool. But that would be ideal. Like, definitely, if I was ever going to create like a preparedness commune, you definitely have to have like your own airstrip for sure. But yeah, wouldn't that be funny? A bunch of preppers got together and like created a big area, and you just chip in. Everyone, you buy your own plane, and then if things got like really sideways, everybody gets on the plane, flies out. Did I already read this part? Let's see. Okay, Stan Grenfell. I grew up in Humboldt County. I've seen the effects of THC. Yeah, Humboldt County. That would be definitely the mecca of marijuana grow. I know a lot of people went to school in Humboldt, and I lived actually not too far from Humboldt. I lived in Quincy for like a couple years. I was going to college at Feather River College. Right out of high school, I was going to be like a fish and game warden, and so it was a really good school. They had like a fish hatchery there, beautiful. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad what happened like with Northern California because of the marijuana grow. I mean, unfortunately, it just kind of went dark. And I mean, it was one thing when just like the hippies were out there growing it, but when the cartels and stuff got involved, it just became a whole another set of problems, and made a lot of that area just totally uninhabitable. Tactical nomad is it Logitech? Logitech? I don't know. Ergo M575 wireless trackball mouse, best mouse on the market. I don't know what I have. It's not the best mouse on the market. I'll tell you that. Probably the cheapest mouse on the market. How many, Charlie Mike, how many acres did you get in Idaho? 5. A little over 5. Beto Sumko, I can't even pronounce that. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. LT Outdoorsman, are you going to be doing any big game hunting this year? Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've been getting a lot more serious about getting an elk this year, and it's going to be really I go into every year saying that I'm going to do it. But what ends up happening is I get so consumed with my painting business because I'm trying to make enough money to coast through the winter because it just work slows down here so much in the winter. And so if you don't make enough money in the summer, you're going to have a bad winter. And so I'm usually just consumed with my with painting all summer and fall. And so I usually end up missing, all hunting season pretty much. I'll get like 1 or 2 days to go out, and if I don't get something, I don't have anything. So we'll see. If I get a little bit more serious, I actually, in the sense that like I got to go out and start surveying the area, and scouting the areas. Um, then I can kind of get almost guarantee myself an elk this year. So we have elk right across the street from my house. You can hear them. I mean, so I have a neighbor that gets like 4 elk a year. It's crazy how much meat they eat because he's got a big family, and so he'll every family member like his son and then like all 3 of his daughters will all get an elk tag, and I think he just fills all they get the tags, but he fills them all, if you know what I mean. But I'm thinking, geez, like 4 elk, and he's like, oh yeah, like we'll eat that, like it'll be gone by the end of the winter. It's like insane amount of meat. So, but if I could, get an elk, I'd be happy with that. That'll fill up my freezer, and then I probably actually end up getting a bigger freezer this year because the one I have right now is just, like it's just like a 4 by 3 by, I don't know, 4 feet deep. It's not very big. um, so I might get like a full size freezer this year and see if I can't get it filled with elk. But I just need to get more serious. But right now I'm already making all the same mistakes this year as I make every single year, which is I was late to get plants in the ground this year as usual. But like our biggest issue, and I made a video about it, about like what to look for if you're going to buy property in a rural area and you're going to try to create somewhat of a homestead or somewhat of a sustainable lifestyle, meaning like you want to, you know, even supplement your food with what you grow and what you hunt. There's just certain things you need to really keep in mind if you're going to try and do that. And one is sun exposure, and it's the one thing that we just don't really have. We have sun, it's just enough to kind of get kind of a lethargic garden going. But what it so it's tricky, and it's tricky for everybody in Idaho, is starting your plant. So we don't like you can't really put anything into the ground until like April. uh which is you gotta with the last frost is somewhere towards the end of April, but you gotta start your plants in March here, especially like peppers, tomatoes, like certain things you have to start in March, and you have to start them indoors, and which means you're either going to be starting them, like if you don't have sun, which we don't, like we just don't have sun in our windows. The only place we have sun is up on a hill, and I can't. I don't know. I guess I got somebody who's really good at gardening could probably correct me on this, but it's even if I have a greenhouse up where we have sun, it's still too cold. We still get at that point. If I put starters in my greenhouse outside in April, we're still getting frost. I mean, we're still in the freezing temperatures at that point. And if I have a bunch of starts in a greenhouse and it drops, below 30 degrees out, it's just going to kill off the starts, as far as I know. So you kind of have to, ideally, you want to have your starts inside your house or in a warm area that's warm all, day and night. At least it doesn't freeze, and we just don't have that. So it sucks, but definitely if we ever move, which eventually we'll move from where we are, um, there are some major things that I'm gonna definitely have that do differently than the situation we're in here. And full sun exposure is going to be one of them. Okay. Beto Asumpacao. You guys have some crazy names. What is that? Bet O Ass Pow. Hello, good evening. LT Outdoorsman, are you? Oh, I already read this. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting to these chats late here. Shaner, I live in North Dakota. I think about moving to Montana or Idaho. The holding back is only thing holding back is Wyoming. Scientists say that massive volcano might erupt. What are your thoughts? I don't. They've been saying that forever. And even if it did erupt, I mean, who's to say what it would do? Sorry, I'm trying to. Gosh, you guys have been chatting it up here. I am thoughts on China pressing Taiwan and possible draft in Germany, basically wanting innocent civilians to die on the front lines of a war with Russia. My thoughts on that? Yeah, well, war's never a good idea. It never benefits the people who are fighting the war, that's for sure. I think the last time war ever benefited anybody is when we were still trying to conquer land. you know, I think that's the last time war ever benefited anyone who fought the war. But we haven't had very many territorial disputes. I know other countries are having territorial disputes, and it is what it is. It's ugly. I don't agree with it. There's a, I would say, I guess I think war is in the way that wars are fought now has definitely become a lot less ethical, if you can use that word in describing a war. But it seems like the wars have just become pretty just a lot more, it's just dark, you know what I mean? Just basically countries just almost, just wiping, almost to the point where it's just about getting rid of a whole group of people. um so no real thoughts on that. I am as well as not sure if it was Finland, but some country put out a 72-hour nuclear war preparedness guide like 2 to 3 days ago. NorCal Chris, good evening. Of the major emergency food kits sold, do you have a preference or a brand you would suggest? I'm just starting to get my food supplies built up. Emergency food kits sold. So if you're just starting to get your food supplies built up, I'd say start. Anybody tell you start with 5 gallon buckets and you put your own food aside, like rice, flour, beans, sugar, salt, like the basics, and you just put them in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, and in 5 gallon buckets. And that's what you do first. As far as like uh, when you want to go into freeze dried food and start getting more into that, um, I'd say Mountain House is still pretty good. August and Farms are the two uh, brands that I would suggest, and I would get everything in number 10 can form. So number 10 cans, and basically go on Amazon, just keep an eye on it because a lot of times they go on sale, and I would just, whenever they go on sale, grab a couple number 10 cans and start putting them away. That's how I have always done it. So it used to be a thing, and I don't know if it is still, but like when I started prepping, the first thing I got were my obviously the 5 gallon bucket. So I got that all squared away, all my staple food. And then when I started getting into number 10 cans, I went to LDS, which, Latter day Saints, for those of you who don't know, you can go to LDS and they actually sell food. They actually sell preparedness food. A lot of people don't know that. And it used to be crazy cheap. Like you could get a case of, you know, they don't sell like meals like August and Farms and Mountain House, but they would sell rice, pasta, onions, like vegetables, stuff like that, fruit, like freeze dried fruits and vegetables and stuff. In number 10 cans, you could buy a case, like a case of carrots or something, in number 10 cans would run you about $50, which is just crazy cheap. You can't get those prices now, but I'd say go check out that because I know they're still pretty cheap, um, and just price shop it like that. But LDS is what I would go to, which stands for Latter Day Saints. So it's part of the church. It's part of the Mormon church, and it's just one of the things they offer there. And you don't have to be a member of the church. You don't have to be a Mormon to buy it. You just go online and you can order it from their website. So that, and if your Walmart carries it, like I know, like our Walmart has a pretty big selection of survival food. It's in the grocery food section, but they sell a lot of like Augustin Farms, and then what's the other one? Ready Wise. So Augustin Farms and Ready Wise, they sell a lot of that, and the deals at our Walmart are pretty hard to beat. So if your Walmart sells it, I would say buy there. But I wouldn't get anything. I wouldn't buy like those big pallets of food where you spend like $1,000 and you get, a year supply or whatever of food. I personally would never do that because all that stuff is just filler. It's just junk. It's like potato soup and probably stuff you wouldn't like. So start out small, taste the stuff, make sure you even like it, before you start buying anything in bulk. All right, let's see where we are here. I got you. What are the odds? I literally was looking into the same thing yesterday. Give me a sec to get the names. Okay. That might be something else. Tactical Nomad. One huge thing that people need to think about is a case where you may need to evacuate. Where we live, there is only one major highway in and out. When ISP closed down our highway a few years ago for an emergency, traffic was backed up for 40 miles each way for over 4 hours. Yeah, before we moved here, and like, this is like when I first got into prepping, I was like single, I was just like a bachelor, and I was saving money. I was basically putting together like my whole preparedness like life when when I met my wife, and then she kind of teamed up with me in my preparedness journey. Um, but that was like my main concern because I was living in California at the time, and that was like my focus was exit routes because I knew if like anything really bad happened, the traffic it was just going to be stalled. I mean, it's bad there. It's stalled there even when, things aren't crazy. So I can't even imagine what it would be like if people were just all trying to flee California. There's no way you'd be getting out on the main road, main highway system. No way. So you would have to start exploring alternative routes. And I've talked about this before. So when I was there, I had a couple actual escape routes that were based on like fire trails. And you'd be shocked. You go on Google Earth and you can map it out. You just put your coordinates together and you can map out your own exit strategies. And you'd be shocked. Like there's fire trails that will take you all around the US. I mean, you can just stay on them forever. I was like shocked at how that how much like these fire trails like interconnect. I mean, it's like a whole secret highway system that people don't realize. But you have to do it yourself. You have to map it out yourself and put it together. And you have to do it visually, so it takes a while. So I had, I wasn't trying to like my plan at the time when I was there wasn't to like flee the state. It was just to get to a certain area, and I knew exactly how to get there. It was about 2 hours from my house if I was taking the highways. i never actually I never actually did the route. um, but if so, I don't know exactly how long it would have taken. Probably three times as long or more. But I would be able to get to my bug out location, the bug out location that I had when I was up in California, just on fire trails. What was also crazy about that is how I would be, I'm on Google Earth, at like 2 in the morning, just like putting together exit strategies. And, I'm looking down and I'm thinking, okay, I'm on some fire trail out in the mid. I mean, I would be 100 more miles out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden on Google Earth, I come across some like huge facility out in the middle of nowhere, and there'd be cars, trucks or whatever parked, and I'm like, what the God's creation is going on here? I mean, we're talking like just some weird stuff that you find on Google Earth when you're really just zooming in into like, you look down and you just think, oh, there's nothing there. It's just, I mean, there's no real roads going to it. It's literally just fire trails, just like a total intertwined, spider web of fire trails. And then all of a sudden, there'll be some big building out there with cars and vehicles everywhere, and you're thinking, what? I don't even know what's going on. I don't even want to know what's going on there. And then the other trick is you'd have to figure out like how much fuel you need to know you had enough fuel. But I did start exploring some of the trails, and it got kind of sketchy because, like I said, especially in California, and you're like in Northern California, and you're like way out in those mountains out there, you start running into some pretty scary stuff because the cartels are everywhere out there. Isaac Nelson, hey, I'm wondering how much 223 ammo should I have? I think that's like, what did they say? I think like the consensus is like at least like a minimum of like 1,000 rounds per firearm. I've heard some guys say like 500. That seems pretty low. I mean, 1,000 seems pretty low, but I would say that would be my goal. Try to attain like at least 1,000 rounds per firearm. Scott K, good evening from Northwest Montana, 60 miles from border. Love your videos. You ever get to Kalispell, stop by on your way. Yeah, we went out to Kalispell once when we first moved here, like 10 years ago. And we went to like a pumpkin patch. I love Montana. If I had to move somewhere else, that would probably be where I'd go. But Kalispell is nice. You probably don't want me to make too big of a fuss about how nice Kalispell is online. But Kalispell is pretty cool. I was kind of shocked at like how, you would think, because we went out there from like we went all the way to the top of the border of of Idaho, because we used to live up at the top of the border there. And we would just shoot over to Montana when we go into Montana, because we camp on the Yak River a lot. And I can't think of the towns that we would visit, but one time we just kept going, and we ended up at Kalispell, and it was pretty nice. A lot of beautiful lakes and rivers. The fishing, everything is just so much better, for sure, in Montana. So, Isaac Nelson, I live in Deary, Idaho. It's cool to have you in Idaho. Right on. Thank you. I thought I had a pretty good command of all the towns and areas and cities in Idaho, but you guys are giving me some new ones. I've never heard of Kimberly. I've never heard of Deary. I thought I knew Idaho pretty well, but LT Outdoors, man. Thank you for the praise, man. Definitely need to film some videos together. Yep. You live in my old stomping grounds, kind of near where I was born. I got these stupid little mosquitoes flying around in here. Admin, good morning from South Africa. I was thinking you were my admin. I was like, I don't remember selecting an admin. Homestead Family Idaho. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Maybe I'll join in on a live stream when we have a babysitter sometime. Yeah, my wife and I have been talking about doing that for a while. You guys would be interested. My wife and I, we could do a live stream together. I think that'd be fun. It'd make it a lot easier for me. It's kind of hard to keep topics going. So if I had somebody next to me, like my wife, who I know really well, we could keep the yapping going forever. Isaac Nelson, we train in Green Creek, Idaho at AFD Firearms Training. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from Moscow, Idaho. That's cool. LT Outdoorsman, dude, elk hunting would be awesome. That's definitely on my bucket list. It is. It's pretty intense. I've never shot an elk, but I can imagine. I've shot other things that are not even a fraction of the size that freak me out. Even shooting a turkey still kind of gives me a little bit, a little bit of the jitters sometimes. So, but right now the only thing you can hunt is bear season. It's bear season right now, so there's a lot of guys out bear hunting right now. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know if I'd ever really want to eat a bear. I've heard like kind of mixed mixed reviews on bears in terms of like if you should or shouldn't. A lot of guys like will say, you know, they love like the fat from the bear is supposedly like really good, but bears carry, oh gosh, what is it, like trichinosis or something, but they carry something that's like very deadly that you don't want to be messing with. So if you're gonna eat bear, you got to be very careful because they carry some pretty toxic stuff, or can carry some toxic stuff. It's kind of like the same like with pigs and stuff, same kind of thing. But you got to be careful. Guinea Nord, I make some pretty badass elk jerky. Yeah, I love elk jerky. I have a neighbor. It's always, I don't know how he has so much time to hunt, but um, he's like always hunting, and so he's always got like everything in his freezer. So I get a lot of stuff like that from him. But yeah, I love elk jerky. It's just like wild game is just such a, you know, it's just such a better thing to eat than anything you could buy at the store, or for that matter, anything that you could even farm raise. Because even if you're farming your own livestock, it's, you know, they're still eating grain that you're buying at the store that's filled with all kinds of crap, unless you had the money to spend on, you know, organic. But even at the end of the day, you still can't be guaranteed that that organic food is safe. So, you know, the way I see it is like if you really want to be truly organic, and like a real Puritan when it comes to like what you're eating, you're gonna have to hunt it and you're gonna have to grow it yourself. Otherwise, you're just kind of gambling. You know, you can go to the store and you can buy something that says organic, but how do you really know? You really don't know. Because what it really comes down to with anything like that you buy at the store, what it comes down to as far as the labeling and what they're telling you is just, it's just legalese. You know, it just comes down to like word shifting, and a lot of these industries are just, they have lawyers. It's like, what do I got to do? You know, the company basically comes up to the lawyer, whatever, you know, that says what the FDA allows, you know, in other words, like what you have to do in order to put the word organic on your package of organic food. It's pretty minimal, and there's all sorts of loopholes that a lot of these industries can utilize to basically just, you know, put some garbage food with the word organic on it. So keep that in mind. It really just comes down to like legalese speak. Just a bunch of word wizards. Stan Grenfell, I used to work in Quincy at Sierra Pacific on their air compressors. Yeah, it's that whole area up there in Quincy, Northern California, definitely PG&E's. Sierra Pacific, the railroad system, everything. Sierra Pacific's the railroad, right? Or is that timber? I think that's railroad. Guinea Nord, I make some pretty bad. Oh, okay, did I read that? Yeah. Guinea Nord, next time I go elk hunting, if you come to Alaska. Okay, yeah, I'll come to Alaska. Be right there. Okay, this is just chat here. Scroll down. Wow. You guys have just been chatting it up. I'm like a mile late here. I'm reading some old chats. I apologize. Stan Grenfell, I had to chain up to head south, leaving Quincy. The pass was closed. Recently? Mr. Sir, hello from Meridian. Hello. I love Meridian. Charlie Mike, funny you were from Quincy. I keep my trailer in Blairston by Feather River. Got 40 acres in Winnemucca and a couple in Elko. Head for the hills if SHTF ever happens. Yep. Elko, Nevada. That's where I did a lot of duck hunting out there. A lot. Stan Grenfell, the Feather River Canyon froze my headlights every few miles. Guinea Nord, my big out guns are an AR-10 FK Bruno, BRNO, on a leg holster, SIG P6 365X Marco concealed Savage 42 in a backpack. Mr. Okay, it's a repeat. Sue Meeks, thumbs up on having your wife join you on a live show. I know we keep talking about it. We need to commit to that. So the next time like I said, it's hard because we have nobody here looking after our kids, and it'd be impossible to do a live stream without our kids being in it like the whole time. It'd be very difficult. I'm trying to get anything done here with, we have a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old. I know my wife's going to correct me. Well, almost. Those are the rough ages. I know that our 8-year-old isn't 9. She's going to be 9. But those are the ages we're contending with. So you can imagine our house is insane. And we have chickens everywhere. So chickens everywhere. This is like the vision. If you want to know the Idaho prepper's life, it's dozens and dozens of chickens and then little kids tormenting the chickens. And then just me and the wife yelling at the kids to put the chicken down. And poor chickens. I think we all have been saying, like, we all need to do like a major parasite cleanse because these chickens, they bring in parasites and the kids are just constantly, I mean, my son like loves chickens. Like he's just always carrying a chicken around. I'm thinking, I know that boy's got parasites. Telling him like, you can't kiss the chicken. Put the chicken down. So I've been looking into like natural parasite cleanses. In case you were interested, if you guys ever want to do one, I've been like kind of researching that lately. It's pretty fascinating in terms of like a lot of cancers have been associated with parasites. A lot of like whatchamacallit, just like degenerative, issues and health issues have been associated with parasites. And it's just, it's one of those things where you're not going to hear a lot about it because our medical industry, it's just, that's not what they focus on. They focus on treating everything with pills and stuff. But, and they also, examine everything from this standpoint too. They're not really looking for that kind of stuff. But you'd be surprised if you go out there, you go on like Rumble or whatever, you can find some pretty interesting, some pretty compelling like testimonies on what certain, deworming agents have been able to cure for people. So pretty interesting stuff. So right now I'm working on doing a parasite cleanse, and I'll probably be doing it myself and just making it, from what I hear, like the best natural remedy is you take walnut husks and you soak them in like alcohol, like vodka or whatever, because you're making a, what do you call that? Like I always forget the word, but you're making a, somebody remind me in the chat where you, anytime you soak something in alcohol, it's like a, I forget what it's called, but you soak it in there for a couple weeks and then you put a little dropper, you'll do a little dropper of it in some water and drink it. And you do that for a couple weeks and then it'll just flush out if there you have any parasites or anything that will rid you of them. But yeah, parasites are no jokes. They can cause all kinds of issues. Tincture. That's what it is. Good one. I gotta go. God bless you. See you next video, Isaac Nelson. Right on, man. Take care. Guinea Nord, bear meat sucks. And if someone is hunting bear, to be a dick, if I see it, they're not leaving the woods alive. Okay. Scott, hello from Iowa. Definitely keep the videos going. My favorite prepper to watch. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. LT Outdoorsman, dude, it would be cool if you started a Idaho prepper podcast. It would be. I'm just, believe it or not, like I'm a major introvert. May not seem like it, but I'm like total introvert. It's like hard to get to basically for me to be in front of a camera. Very awkward for me still. But if I was to do a podcast, I'd have to like team up with somebody. I can talk. It's so much better if I have somebody to kind of push back and throw stuff out and just kind of feed me ideas. That's why the comment section is good. Otherwise, I don't even know what I'd be talking about if I wasn't responding to these. Shaner, I always chuckle when people ask how much ammunition should I have. It depends in my home. Oh, it depends. In my home, I have over 7,000 rounds. Jeez Louise. Tell us about it. You're single? You're single. I have a high-powered pellet rifle for small game and a 22 bolt action. Interesting. A pellet rifle for small game. That's an interesting take. I'll tell you what, a lot of people say if you're going to get a pellet gun, or if that's you're going to incorporate a pellet gun, I guess the advantage is you can carry a little bit. You obviously the pellets are cheaper, but I'll say this: you might as well get a 22, and this is why. Is if the only advantage I see to having a pellet gun versus a 22 is like sound. You know, it's you just have a much lower sound. Obviously a pellet gun is not as loud as a 22. However, if you are shooting subsonic or they have another type of ammo, basically just like quiet 22. I just bought some the other day. I was shocked at how quiet that 22 ammo was. It was like it's quieter than my pellet gun. It's that quiet. It's like tick. It was like I had a suppressor on my pellet gun. I mean on my 22, but it's just the ammo. So I would say if you're just looking, for a survival rifle and you're trying to, you want something that you can take pretty much anything. I mean, people would tell you if you get a good enough headshot, a 22 will take out just about anything if you get a good headshot, and they're super accurate, and you just get yourself some subsonic ammo. I mean, basically you just have an extremely high powered, hard hitting pellet gun because they're that quiet. So That would be what I recommend. If that's why you're going with a pellet gun, is just because you want to have a lighter sound footprint, whatever they call that, sound profile. I'd just get a 22 with the quiet ammo. But yeah, just a nice 22 like bolt action rifle with a nice scope. I don't have one. I used to have one and I sold it. Now I just have a 1022. But I'd love to have just like a really nice bolt action 1020, or 22. It's just so accurate and they're so fun to shoot. I know people always give me grief for shooting the 22s, but I just think that it's just such a fun caliber to shoot. You can, plus you don't have to wear ear protection. You can just shoot it and not have to put anything in your ears, and you're not drawing a lot of attention to yourself. The ammo's cheap. It's not, punching you in the arm all day long. So, yeah, I'm a 22 guy based on just that. Guinea Nord, Charlie, he's wrong. House of Lamar. Do you get grizzlies in Idaho? Yes, we do. Depends on where you are, but even in our area, we don't have like a lot of bear activity. Like at least where I live, like at my house. But it's shocking, like how much the landscape in terms of like wildlife changes just within like a couple hundred yards. I mean, if I just go a couple hundred, like we have like hardly, in other words, like we don't have any bear here. There's no signs of bear. I've never picked one up on a trail cam. Nothing. There's no tracks. Because I keep an eye out for it. Same with mountain lions. But if I walk up our road, about 300, 400 yards, there's bear there. And my neighbor who lives out there says he's actually seen grizzly bears. I'm like, that's crazy, because I've never seen any. We've been here for almost 5 years and I've never seen any sign of bear whatsoever. And we do get elk, and the same thing. Like I think the only thing I've picked up a lot of elk, on my trail cam, but it's rare. It's not that often. I don't know where these stupid flies are coming from, and it's annoying me. But I go across the street and it's like wild kingdom. I mean, there's herds of elk, but for some they just stay. They're very, I don't know, they're just super territorial or what. LT Outdoorsman, I just bought a bolt action 270. I'm super excited to take it hunting this year. Yeah, that's a good rifle. That was like my first hunting rifle. I had a 270 when I was in junior high, and I shot an antelope with it, and then I sold it. Oh, Charlie Mike. Don't try to pet the moose. Shaner, if I remember right, Dick Prenicky used a 22. That's all he needed. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That would be shocking if that's true. That would be crazy. Guinea Nord, don't try to pet anything in Alaska. Just enjoy them from afar. Yeah. Stan Grenfell, 277 is a great caliber. Enjoy. Stan Grenfell T. Guinea Nord, wish there was an AK in 30-06. What? I wonder why you want that. Where did these stupid flies come from? God, this is driving me crazy. Charlie Mike, I shoot 300 Win Mag Christian arms with a Theus scope. Never heard of Theus. One of the first scopes I ever bought was a Bausch and Lomb. Bet you guys didn't know Bosch and Lomb. They make like contact lenses. Evidently, they make scopes. I don't know if they still make scopes, but I had one on an old rifle that I owned in high school. I don't have it anymore, but I always thought it was weird that the scope was Bausch and Lomb. Anti at Jack, evening YT introverts are the best to watch. Just info, no volume, adjust or mute with subtitles needed. We don't care about cliques. Click. Wannabe cool kids table at the outer outlier table. Yeah. Yeah, I'm an introvert. I have bad ADHD, which means, explains my past. We're risk takers. But usually not really good risk takers. We'll take the risk, but it's usually the payout is something that's very nefarious and degenerate usually. LT Outdoorsman, the funny thing is for someone who lives in California, I can call an elk great. Oh yeah, people don't even realize the elk in California are insane. There was an area that it was actually where my bug out location was when I was there. It was just herds of elk. It was like, I can't even compare what they'd be like, but bull elk, like huge bull elk, just walking around like cattle, like you're on a farm, like a ranch, and they're just walking around like cattle. They're just so domesticated because I don't think they've ever even heard a gunshot in their lives. And all the people that they see are probably just like a bunch of hippies trying to feed them and take pictures. So they just have like no understanding of that men is their predator or could be their predator. Same with the bears. It was an area, the same area where my bug out location was. The bears, like it was just black bears, but one time I was actually getting ready because I would go out there like every couple weeks and camp and stuff. And then one day I was getting ready to leave. I was packing up and it's in the middle of the day and I hear this thing coming through the woods like just crunching through the woods and I thought it was an elk. And just because how it was walking is in the middle of the day. And then also I start to see, I can hear it. It's getting closer, and then I kind of see this shadow, or whatever. I can kind of see its shape taking form through the trees, and my original thought in terms of its size, I thought it was like a young elk. That's how big this was, and then it came out of the woods and availed itself to me, and it was just a massive black bear. I was like, whoa there, Charlie. But then as soon as he saw me, he just took off. But yeah, it's a shame. California's, And now I guess it's good that the wildlife is. I think the wildlife there was always strong, even when it was still a good hunting area, and you could hunt there was still a pretty good presence of wildlife. You can still hunt there. It's just I wouldn't even want to mess with it. Towards the end there, I didn't even feel comfortable even having a firearm there, because you just didn't know there were so many damn laws, just crazy laws around firearms that you just never knew if you were in violation of one or not. So that wasn't a very pleasant feeling, is just thinking am I sitting here with a felony that I don't know about because I haven't combed through the firearm laws this year. But just the firearm laws were just so crazy, and just so extensive, unless you were really just kind of going through it, and they're changing constantly and getting worse and worse every year. And if you weren't on top of it and really keeping up with it, you could find yourself, in violation of a firearm law, really like a federal one, and be in a lot of trouble. So it's like this isn't worth it. LT Outdoorsman, I have ADHD too, but I use it to my advantage when I'm filming my videos. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, my ADHD, it's just gotten really bad lately. I think my mom just over vaccinated me. I was like an 80s kid when it was just all about injecting injecting your children with stuff all the time. I swear it seemed like I don't know about you guys, but gosh, like when I was growing up, it seemed like I was at the doctor like every month getting a shot. I don't know what was going on with that generation, but they just loved injecting us with stuff. So it probably have a lot of heavy metals. Shaner, I saw your bug out video on your four-wheeler. My thoughts are a Honda 250F or a Kawasaki 300R. My thoughts? Your thoughts? Did you mean to say your thoughts on a Honda? I don't know. I have a Yamaha. I'm not really... I can tell you right now, the older... I'll just say this. My Yamaha 400 is like, I've done so much work to it, and I've watched so many videos on it, and they're pretty easy to work on. The parts for them are really readily available. So I'm like a big proponent of just buying old school everything. My truck's old school, like ATV. I just stay away from the new. And it's not that I wouldn't like to have a newer, vehicle. It's just, but one, they're too expensive. I just think it's just a obscene amount of money what they want for new anything, vehicles, ATVs, or whatever. I couldn't justify spending that kind of money on a toy, unless I was making millions of dollars. But I don't think I ever will. But they're just super easy to work on, and the parts are really easy. Like I can get a new carburetor for that Yamaha for like $60 on Amazon. I can buy the intake. I buy almost everything on Amazon or eBay, and it's cheap. Super cheap. So, and it's super easy to work on. Not a whole lot of videos, but I'd say for the most part, like everything is like with Yamaha, like from I don't know what year, but you can pretty much anything with the Grizzlies or the Kodiaks or the what's the other series? They had like a few series. They're all pretty much the same, so I can watch a video on how to do pretty much anything, like adjust the clutch or stuff like that. It's all pretty much the same. But I love my ATV, and the trailer too that I just bought for it is like so awesome. It's just like it's made my life so much easier. I can just load all my stuff because sometimes I'll like for today I was actually cleaning out my sprayers, my paint sprayers, and I got a clean out area, that's in one place, and then I store them on another part of my property, and sprayers are heavy, so I just clean everything, load everything up on my trailer, my ATV trailer, and then zip it on over to uh, where I keep all my tools, and it's just nice to be able to bring all my tools and stuff around my property that way. Saves on the wear and tear of the joints, and you start pushing 50 years old, boy, your eyes go, your joints, this is that age. All the decisions that you made in your teenage and your younger years really start to take effect in your 40s. I'll just say that. And spending a lot of time looking back going, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I'd be in a lot less pain today. So yeah, I have a bad knee. Like when I was 18, I'll just tell you the story. Let's see, how long have I been streaming? 96 minutes? Really? Is that how long I've been streaming? 96 minutes? Anyways, well, I'll tell this story and then I'll read a few more chats and then I'll sign out. But yeah, when I was like 18, 19, something like that, high school, I had kept a few too many beers for the night, and I drove into a tree at like 45 miles an hour, and my kneecap, like I was driving like a Honda Civic, and I hit a tree dead on with like three of my friends in the car. Fortunately, everybody was fine. I got the worst of it, but my kneecap came clean off in that car accident. But I didn't feel it. It was adrenaline and alcohol took that all away. But yeah, one of the reasons why I don't drink. And for those of you who know, I quit drinking when I was 23. I've almost 25 years without a drink. I tell people that, I go, yeah, this June I'll have 25 years of sobriety, which is crazy. I always tell people, yeah, if you're trying to do the math, I got sober when I was 10 years old. But yeah, they found my kneecap in the tongue of my shoe. And luckily I had a good doctor. But I remember that night, even though my blood alcohol level was like a 0.35, I had a good doctor, and he did a really good job. So, I've been able to get by for a very long time on this destroyed kneecap. They ended up like wiring everything back together and putting a screw in there, but all the muscle and tissue, there's so much damage around it that my leg never fully regained its strength. And it's just always been a weak, bad knee, and it's created all sorts of back problems when you have one leg that's supremely weaker than the rest. Everything else starts to compensate for it, and then everything starts to, you're just functioning kind of like out of whack, and then you start having all kinds of issues, neck issues, back problems. So it takes a toll, but especially when you're doing a rough trade. So, like I said, yeah, that stuff starts to catch up. I should have paid more attention in school. not partied as hard. And yeah. I miss a bunch of chats. There was like no chats. Now there's like 100 of them. Guinea Nord. Main reason I have never and will never go to California because of the gun laws. Yeah. It's a pretty lame place. Shaner with firearm laws through the feds. Check out Safe Passage Act. Playing with fire enters. Howdy. LT Outdoorsman. Dude, they just changed the hunting and gun laws and it's becoming way too much. Once I graduate, I'm out of here. Good idea. Stan Grenfell, my first was a B&L 2.58, worked well until I opened it up. Playing with fire, the early 4-stroke XLs and XTs are dinosaurs. What does that mean? Like they're old? Stan Grenfell, I hit an elk at Prairie Creek Redwoods. Did it die? Did you eat it? Then what happened? You're leaving us hanging, Stan. Playing with fire, the Yamaha TWs are still same generations from the mid-90s. Guinea Nord in my 40s, and I seriously regret some of the hard work I did in my youth. Yeah. I did 18 years in the light infantry, turning 58 years old. Yeah. It's crazy. This is like they say the youth is wasted on the young or something like that. I don't know why we have to be so rough on ourselves. Although I have some friends that are all like worse off, like my friends that played football. And luckily for me, I wasn't very good at football, although I played it for like 6 years. All through junior high and high school. Like I started actually in I started in 4th grade and I went into Pop Warner and played football until my junior year. And then I was just getting into so much trouble I couldn't play. But luckily, I wasn't that good, so I didn't play that often. And I think that, my, and I just wasn't that good because I wasn't paying attention. I was just like, ADHD, couldn't, my heart wasn't in it, but that probably saved my spine because I have a lot of my friends who did end up staying and played football and went into college. You can't come in. Sorry, my daughter was coming in here. They have bad back issues, spine issues, pretty bad stuff. So, but I was actually signed up for the Marine Corps when I was a senior in high school, and then I got in that accident, and that pretty much pushed me out of that future. All for the best. I don't think I would have made a very good Marine. Personally, I probably would have been kicked out. Before let's see, LTO. Oh wait, let's see, I've missed a few. Armis Tacticus Zombies Apocalypse. Okay, I don't speak Spanish. LT Outdoorsman, before I head out, man, just wanted to say thanks for all the help with the prepping. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you, man. You've been a diehard fan, so LT Outdoorsman's always one of my first commenters. Shaner, Suzuki 650, enough said. Best bike ever. Stan Grenfell, wait until your 60s. I will wait. I'll wait as long as possible. It's honestly scaring me because I'm in pretty bad shape and I'm still in my 40s. Like, I'm in a lot of pain. And the other thing that worries me is, like, I don't even know, like, it's like my parents, like, all, the baby boomer generation, they're all having, like, their knees replaced. Like, that's the thing you do when you're in your 60s, get your knees replaced. I'm like, yeah, I mean, enjoy it while you can. You guys all probably, like, have access to, like, good health insurance and good doctors. By the time I need my knees replaced, I'll probably be having it done by, you know, I'll probably have it be done in Mexico or something. I can't even imagine. They probably won't even, like, knock me out for it. They'll just replace it without any anesthesia. It's going to be a rough future for us. So I've actually been thinking that I'm going to try and see if I can't get my knees replaced early, because I think by the time I really need to have them replaced, like, honestly, like, what's going into the medical industry right now, like, I don't want those people to have anything to do with I don't want those people operating on me. I mean, you just have, like, the most unqualified people going into these professions right now. It's scary. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. You should be on Twitter. If you want to know what's going on, get on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, I will say that's, like, something that at first, when Elon took over Twitter, I really didn't think. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, it's going to be a free speech platform," and I was, like, totally holding my breath, like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And and sure enough, for the first couple years, whatever he had it, like, it wasn't very free. It was for a second, and then he started getting very restrictive. The ADL started really, like, cramping down on him and not letting a lot of people uh, on the platform. But recently, they've kind of opened it up, and they've started really becoming more of a free speech platform. So it's nice. So it's nice to see free speech, kind of like true free speech, coming into the some of these internet platforms. Julio Sinawi, when do you normally go live? I don't. I have no normal time. It's another feature of ADHD. We don't plan ahead. We don't plan anything. Although I am a prepper, which is kind of odd. But that area I plan ahead. But scheduling things is just not something I do. Because I do these things, it's kind of on a whim. I have to be in the right frame of mind to do it. Um, I'm just not going to just do a video or a live stream just for the sake of. I just have to be in the mood to do it. So, sorry. If you just hit the notification bell, you'll get notified when I'm going live. Abby Bayer, you probably have it done by a robot. Yeah, and the crazy thing, they think they're very qualified. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about the knee thing. Sorry. This is what happens when I'm get behind on the chat log. That'd be cool. I'll take knee surgery from a robot any day. I think. Except you can't hold a robot accountable. Guinea Nord, main reason I'm off to the wilderness. I absolutely cannot deal with most people, especially the young generation. Oh, come on. The younger generation isn't that bad. I will say this about the younger generation. They're much more open minded. I'd say they're a lot more aware. A lot of the older generations are still stuck on television, getting, sourcing their information from television. A lot of lessons they haven't learned yet. But younger generations, they have their downsides, but the upside is I would say they're on it in terms of like they're truth seekers. I'll give them that. They're diehard truth seekers, so I can appreciate that. Stan Grenfell, yes, it died, but I left the elk on the side of the road. Shaner, if you can promote your snares, they work. Don't sell yourself short. Oh, if you can promote your snares, they work. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to buy my snares, I sell a lot of them. I've sold like over 100 of them, and they're by far my biggest seller, next to my fire tinder. But I sell more of those than anything. It's just the thing is too is like not like you can buy snares, but they usually just come in. I always just didn't like the way that snares were sold, and so that was what I did. Is I just probably one of the only people that actually had the idea to roll the snares up and put them in a hard can. So my snares are really designed and meant for your bug out bag or for survival. Whereas most snares, they're really just designed for trappers. So that's kind of what separates me from most. But I'm pretty much I think I'm like one of the only ones like selling snares that way. If I put them on Amazon, I would sell thousands, but I make them by hand. So I just wouldn't be able to keep up with I just wouldn't be able to keep up with the flow. And I don't think I would want to I'd have to be making snares all day, every day. And I don't think I'd want to do that for any amount of money. I already have arthritis in my hands from painting. So what is another weird thing that starts to happen? It's like an arthritic symptom is that I get these my joints and my fingers will blow out, and I'll just have these all of a sudden. It's like the disc inside of the joints and my fingers will just pop out of nowhere, and it's super painful, and I have to pop it back in. Basically, just pull my finger out and then push the disc back in. It's pretty gnarly. LT Outdoorsman, I still need to buy some of those snares for my bug out bag. They will be great for a survival situation. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's always something that I don't see. Like guys, like people, most bug out videos that I see, they'll have like a fishing kit, and it's just as far as like procuring food, it's people don't have like a very serious, food procurement strategy in their bug out bag. I mean, I'd say out of all the videos I've seen, like maybe 5% of the people have like a serious food procurement strategy incorporated in their bug out bags. But it depends on where you live. But I think there's pretty much squirrels everywhere, and especially if you live like in the the regions where you get gray squirrels, because like where we are, we just have brown squirrels, and brown squirrels do not taste very good. they're not nearly as tasty as the gray squirrels, which I think are found more in the southern states. Got a lot of them in California too. But up here in Northwest, we just get mostly brown squirrels, and they're not good. But it's funny. We right now we got squirrels all over the property here, and I saw one today. It was just looking at me, uh, and the brown squirrels too. I think they get a lot more. They're aggressive. They get a little rambunctious. They kind of like almost look like they're about to attack you, and they get very territorial and stuff. But I saw this one kind of look at me today, and I was like, "Wow, that is a fat squirrel." There's the brown squirrels are kind of tiny, but this one was just fat, on a belly, and then I kind of scared it, and then saw it ran away. I could see it was a female, and she's pregnant. So it's funny, but yeah, I don't know. I've told this story before. One of the first times I moved up here is like a feature, kind of a weird thing that brown squirrels will do, and I think brown squirrels are the only types of squirrels that do this. But if they are anticipating, and this is kind of a like a old way of figuring out what the weather is going to be like, if because animals are just they are tuned into that kind of stuff. They just have like a better barometer and like how the weather's going to be, just innate about them. uh, but if you observe certain animal behavior, they can tell you what the weather's going to be like if you know what to look for. And squirrels and a lot of animals can actually tell you what the whole season is going to be like. And so if you ever start to see brown squirrels will actually start storing mushrooms. If they think that the winter's going to be really long and hard, um, they will start taking the morels, because we get a lot of morel mushrooms, and they start picking the morel mushrooms, and they stick them like anywhere there's a branch, where you get like a, a division in branches, and they'll stick the mushrooms right in between the branches. So if you look around the trees, if you see mushrooms stuck in branches in the trees, you know that it's going to be a long winter, because the squirrels just can sense it, and they do that as a reserve for food. But if it's not, you won't see. They don't do it with the mushrooms. So first time I saw that, I saw mushrooms like neatly placed in trees. I thought like I had the Blair Witch was at my house, like on my property. I was like, what kind of demonic witchcraft is going on at my property? Why is somebody storing mushrooms in the trees? I thought it was like some satanic ritual that I had just come across. Nope, it's just the crazy brown squirrels preparing for a long winter. Shaner, I'll say lay lock when a animal is snared. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Uh, TRW, hello from Wyoming. Hello. I love Wyoming. I spent a lot of time in Wyoming when I was in junior high and did a lot of hunts out there. I'd moved there, but it was expensive. Stan Grenfell, thanks for letting us in. We appreciate you and Mrs. Prepper. Why, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shaner, squirrel teeth constantly grow. They will gnaw their teeth down to have a hole in your deck or roof. Oh, yeah. The Sly Fox. Howdy, sir. Howdy. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it. I've been yapping for almost 2 hours now, or more, probably. About 2 hours. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the live stream. yeah, if you want to support the channel, you can buy some cool handmade survival goods from my Etsy store. I'll leave a link in the description on this video. But I wanted to do this live stream. Like I said, I've just been super busy. It's my busy time of year, and I got family stuff so it's been tough to get a video out. But like I said, I do have an EDC video that's going to be my next video, and there's going to be some cool stuff in there, and that will probably be my next video. However, if the sun comes out, I'm going to have to jump on and do my EcoFlow video. So EcoFlow just sent me these 220 watt solar panels, which I'm super stoked on. And those go and work in conjunction with the EcoFlow generator. So if you guys are interested in that, that's like a really cool generator. When I first got the solar generator, I was really thinking like, this is a luxury item. Like I don't know. I mean, I just couldn't really conceive of a way to incorporate it into my preps, because to run our house, when the power goes out, we have a big gas generator. It has to be huge, to run the house. I couldn't run our house on a solar generator. But it's loud. It's just super loud. And I was thinking, if I had to, if I had to run a generator and run some things and power up some things, and I didn't want to draw attention to myself with so much sound, I could, with this generator and with these solar panels, I could easily power our refrigerator. And I think for most people, I would say that's like, if there's one thing that you want to, want to make sure that it has power, it's your refrigerator, so that your food doesn't go bad. And these solar generators can easily power your refrigerator. So now I'm really good. It's definitely made me totally look at solar generators differently now. And I just have like a real basic one. It's not even the most powerful one, but and the other thing is, with the solar generator and these solar panels, if you have a camper and you had to like bug out and you're utilizing your camper, a solar generator, definitely the way to go. And a solar generator will easily power your campers. So if you have like a tent camper and you're running just like a domestic refrigerator, and you need to run the pump for your water and that kind of stuff, the solar generators can easily accommodate all that kind of stuff, and you can sustain for a very significant period of time in a camper with a solar generator / solar panel setup. So I'll probably do a video on that whole thing, but like I said, there's no sun here, and our forecast is just like clouds forever. So hopefully we'll get a break in the weather, and I can do a video on it. But until then, I'm just going to do my EDC video, which should be pretty cool. But like I said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're interested in any of the products, we'll make sure to put links in the description. So it's just pretty much the snares and my fire stuff if you want to support the the channel. So all right, well, that's going to do it. And now I just have to figure out how to end this live stream. This is always tricky, but all right, you guys. Well, until the next time, stay prepared.